Hi, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of Podium Picks. Sean Woodland, Tommy Marquez, and our good friends Chase Ingram and Bill Grundler here for a games draft. And before anybody says anything, we have to get this started with the following. Avengers!
Oh. Yes. Goosebumps.
Oh, man.
Everywhere.
I
All
need
right.
to hide under the table now.
Now that everyone is properly enthused, how you guys doing?
Woo! Good, man.
So pumped to be a part of this. I
miss you guys. I miss you
I was
guys.
like, I really hope one day I get to be on one of these Podium Picks. So I'm pumped we get to do this, and I love the subject matter we get to do, especially with the games coming up around the corner. So
I'm just happy to hang out with my friends. I haven't seen you guys at least on a call like this in a long time. It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Okay. Since we did, I think we
did
did
the mega tournament.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The old Bubs mega tournament. So check that out. That's still on your guys' YouTube channel, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Go check that out. Okay, before we get started, Tommy, obviously this is a big episode. Anytime we have the Avengers together here, how the Whoop numbers looking? I'm actually in the green. I'm at 73%, man, looking good. I already have I don't know how I have a 9. Oh, I took my dog on a walk, so that's how I have a 9-day strain. But didn't get a ton of sleep, but I got quality sleep, ready to rock.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm in the yellow. I'm 59%, so upper yellow. I knew that was going to be the case because we pulled a single for deadlift. We had to pull a single at like an 8 out of a 10, like RPE 8. So I knew that generally my CNS is a little toasty after that. I was pulling Chase Ingram numbers, 500 plus. And but I got some good sleep, 7:43.
Sheesh. I don't even know what that's like anymore.
Sorry, Chase. I had to throw the deadlift dig in there.
I know who I am, and I know what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. So
Hey, I was doing 200-meter runs last night as part of a workout about 9:30 at night, and your boy was feeling good coming back on his first one, good form. And then I hit my neighbor has like this little brick, outline on the hit that. Butt over tea kettle, scraped up my right leg. I'm like, I meant to do that. Popped right up, just went right back into the garage. Thank God it was at night, so no one saw it. But yeah.
So you did like a 1-for-1 is what you're saying. You're like I did repeats of 1 after the trip. I'm good. I'm good.
I went back in. I was bleeding from the knee. Got my rope. Did my double unders and did my thing. But I was just like, man, that's why I don't run. It's dangerous. Okay, we are here for an edition of Podium Picks, and then later on, Tommy will. He'll have our Whoop podium for our Whoop group. But this is what we're doing. Since the games are right around the corner, we figured we got to have our buddies on from the Get With The Programming podcast. And if you guys aren't listening to that, how dare you? And who do you think you are? Check them out. It's a fantastic show. A lot of fun to listen to. But we're going to draft. We're going to have a games draft. And we're going to draft a men's moment, a women's moment, an event, a piece of equipment, and then miscellaneous. Anything you want. So you got to fill one of those 5. You got to fill all 5 of those categories throughout the draft. The way we usually do this, Bill and Chase, is we let our guests pick where they want to draft. So since there's 2 of you, I could flip a coin and then whoever wins could pick first and then second. And then Tommy and I can repeat that process.
I can do age before beauty any day of the week.
Oh, we're gonna let Bill go first.
I know my strengths isn't deadlifting. However,
you feel good about the drafting.
Yeah.
Go first, Bill?
I'll go first. Whatever.
All right, Bill will go first. You want to go second, Chase, or where do you want to go?
I would love to go second.
All right, Chase will go second. So I guess Tommy will.
I got one.
You're gonna do the flip. Okay.
Yep. Heads is a friend of the show.
Okay.
Tails is our radio mic logo.
Okay.
All right. Call it in the air.
I got it.
Flip.
Heads.
It is heads.
Oh.
I'm gonna go third.
Okay. All right. I get the wraparound.
Go back to back, don't you?
Tommy goes back to back. Yeah.
Oh, son of a gun. Good call.
Okay.
Okay. There's this should be interesting. Okay. So Bill
Yeah.
You are up first. You have the first pick in our games draft, and the board is wide open here.
Okay. So I can pick any moment. We're talking men's first, right? We're doing men's first.
You can
pick any category.
Yep.
Oh, I can pick any category.
Yeah, you just got to fill all 5.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with the men's moment because when I heard about this was the first thing that popped into my head.
Okay.
The men's moment that I'm going to pick is the 2018 games.
Ooh.
Of a very close race of 2 very well-known CrossFitters. Matt Fraser, Pat Vellner, both falling to their doom from the cargo net.
That's a good first overall pick.
That was the first thing that popped into my head when you said that. I was like, oh, punk. All right, there it is. That's my moment.
That's awesome.
All right.
And some fantastic memes came up that as well.
All-time
best ones ever.
That just came up on my Facebook feed. That just popped up yesterday.
Oh,
Really?
man.
Wow. Yeah.
So good.
All-time meme.
That was a good one.
Worthy. Yep.
All right. Well, that's so the Pat Vellner, Matt Fraser nosedive off the cargo net is off the board. So Bill, you have now
I can't see that event without seeing the Family Guy where Peter Griffin has is doing the sniper moment.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What's it called?
Oh, I was thinking the one with Fluffy Duck, and it was the
American Sniper.
Sniper. Yeah. It was Family Guy reenacting. I think it was Saving Private Ryan with the sniper in the bell tower with the cigarette. And he
I remember Fluffy Duck had that meme out before the event was over.
Oh, that was so fast and it was so smart. I've never seen a meme put together with such precision that went together so well. I mean, each shot, the anticipation of the boom, boom, and then there goes Matt. Same thing with Pat. Come, boom, it hits the ground. Man.
Okay.
Whoa.
Jake, you are now up with your first pick of the games draft.
So I was trying to go between a men's moment or an event. And I feel like I have a better shot at getting events later in the draft. So I will go a men's moment. And I'll also pick 2 strapping, good-looking gentlemen.
I know where you're going.
Where it did come down to a little bit of a race towards the end. And I'm going the Josh Bridges throning the end of push-pull with the all-time Predator handshake bromant of Josh Bridges' celebration of push-pull. So I'm going to go the Bridges throning push-pull.
That's a great pick.
That is a good one.
Even if you would just pick Josh Bridges' celebration.
Yes. And I wanted to leave that on the table because there's been some good celebrations out there. Not to give you guys any fodder. But I got my moment in. I'm set. That's why I went second, because I know Bill wasn't picking push-pull to save his damn life.
Nope.
Place. Bill, why don't you go first? Tommy, because I know I'm going to get mine.
That's clever. That's clever. That's knowing the opposition.
That's right. That's MRT smart.
Okay, well, I'll get that running back that nobody's.
There you go. All right, so that brings it to me. So we've gone back-to-back men's moments. I'm going to go to a women's moment because I think there's this one really, to me, just is the one. And this was Cara and Tia in 2017 finish to the old Fibonacci final. And then it was decided by 2 points. But that moment will always live to me as just one where the sound in that Coliseum, that it had feeling, and it was one of the most exciting races I think that we've ever seen on the women's side. So I'm going to go with that. I feel that's a strong one. I feel like I build my franchise around that.
Yeah, that would have been my first overall pick if you hadn't taken that
off my short list.
That's in terms of iconic moments. I think the women's division is probably the women's moments. I think are a little bit thinner.
I agree.
but I'm going to save, since I got the wraparound pick, I'm looking at like, what am I going to pick in the graphic and how it's going to look stacked up. I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to go event first, actually.
Ooh,
I'm going to go event, and I'm going to take the Burden Run.
that's a good pick.
First overall
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
I bet that hurts, Sean.
Right. You know, it does, but I feel like there's more depth on the event side than there's women's.
There
side.
are, yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
no
If my son get drafted for a team I don't like, you know.
Yeah. I know Sean likes the Burden Run. It's one of my favorite events. Visually, some of the photos and pictures that came out of that were amazing. To me, that was like the first like full encompassing event for the Carson Arena, where we, like Sean always say, we explored the space, you know. And
Yeah.
and I love that event, and I would love to see something like it come up again.
A 2.0 would be so cool.
Yeah, I'm happy to get that one as my event. I'm gonna go set my wraparound pick. I'm actually gonna take another women's moment, and to me, this is, while it may not, the competition implications weren't as big as Sean's, I think it's one of the more important moments in the history of the women's sport, and it happened way back in Aromas.
Don't do it.
2009. It's Annie's
Don't
first.
do it, Tommy.
I knew that one was going to be there.
Bitch, that was so good. Son of a, that's what I wanted.
That would have been my second one.
Yeah, that to me, that's the other moment. Like Annie shows up, everyone's like, who the heck is this Icelandic like goddess warrior woman that's just like crushing things? And then, oh wait, she can't do something. Actually, she can. She just needs to be exposed to it. And then at that moment, like everything, like nothing else mattered in that moment. There was like the spirit of competition. You have Chuck Carswell like cheering her on as her judge. Like everybody in the crowd wanted it. And at that point, it was like, okay, well, that's the future of the sport right there. That's what we're looking at. It may not be next year. It may be in a couple of years, but that's the future of the sport. Yeah,
that's great.
That was a good one.
I actually thought you were going to go with Annie, but the 30 double unders that were in that event, because
I mean, will we ever see a test that grueling again, guys?
Those 30 double unders are like the brake in a Fast and the Furious car. Like you just don't ever use it.
Oh, that was good.
That was a good one. Okay, well, that's back to me now. And I cannot believe I'm going to get this. I'm going to go with my men's moment, and I'm going to go back to, I believe it was 2016 at the old soccer stadium. Well, Bill Grundler and I are sitting there in the booth calling the suicide sprint. And Matt Fraser comes back from the pack, like he's in the middle of the pack for the entire race, and gets first across the finish line, wins his heat. And at that very moment, we knew no one is going to beat this guy ever, because the prior year, I think he was like 33rd in a similar event, and then he finishes second.
And I believe there was a very famous phrase that was announced by this sexy chocolate voice of Sean Woodland. What can't this man do?
And you know what's funny? You know that meme that they have of like it's the UFC crew, Joe Rogan, that goes, guys.
Oh,
like, that's basically what Bill and I look like in the booth. So. Same thing. So that's going to be, I'm picking that as my men's moments. Matt on the suicide sprint.
Oh man, that is a good one. Yeah.
All right. That's a nice run on men's events. Those are already. I'm the only one without one so far.
Yeah, you can wait now, Tommy.
Wait.
Back to Chase.
Okay. So I had the men's moments. Tommy gutted me with the Annie. That was maybe when I realized who I'm on this show with. I can't anything past these guys. Okay.
I had to pick Annie. I'm sipping from Thor's hammer right now. Like
that's wow! I didn't even notice that. That's amazing.
That is pretty cool.
All right, I am gonna go with. No, that'll last. I'm gonna go with a female moment, because I feel like as you guys were saying, there's a few more men than there's women, and I'm gonna go with a young lady on the scene for the first time. I believe this is 2018. Trying to chase down a legend of the sport.
Oh, it's a good one.
And it's not often in a grunt work event that Katrin David's daughter gets run down. And I'm going to go with Laura Horvath giving Katrin David's daughter the business and stoop to the full.
That's a good one.
Coliseum there in Madison. So Laura Horvath just blowing the doors off David's daughter on that final bike and sled pull.
Oh, I love that.
That's a good one. That was so impressive. I mean, like Laura came, like we saw her, you know, like Sean saw her at the regionals. We saw her in Dubai a bunch of times. Just like a person that just didn't seem to know, oh, I'm just going to go have some fun. And that's what it looked like she was doing, even in that first showing in the games. Like nothing disturbed her. And she just was like in everyone's face with this big smile. And that race, I was like, I've never seen Katrin break like that. Like it broke her spirit. That was impressive.
Gave her the old 2-piece and a biscuit as she passed her on that last sled pull. That was amazing.
Totally. Bye-bye. Wow.
Good pick. That's I didn't even think about that one, Chase. That's a really good pick.
I remember this. A lot of my memories is always like sitting behind Sean and Bill while they're broadcasting individuals, because I always did team. So I got to sit back and just watch these things unfold. That's why a lot of these moments were so personal for me, is like I got to enjoy this rather than just call it like you guys did. And I just remember standing behind, listening to you guys, standing next to JB and a few other people that were just watching this happen. We're like, oh my goodness. Like that was a serious moment. So yeah, that was my women's moment. All
right. Well, back to Bill. Now, Bill, you get a pick to end the second round, and then you get a pick to start the third round. So you have back-to-back picks here.
Got it. I'm going to go equipment.
Ooh.
A very controversial piece of equipment. But I think is totally fine for what it's supposed to be doing. The old pegboard. Old pegboard. Now, here's why I'm picking that one. And I said it when me and Sean were broadcasting the first time. We saw an entire group of women, fittest, most badass athletes on the planet, that were completely stumped by this thing. And a comment that I made on that one, because I was so excited about seeing it out there, because people my age and most of the parents of the athletes that were on the floor, probably every single junior high, every single high school had one of these in their gym, and I guarantee all their parents had done it. So it was so interesting to me seeing this piece of old equipment that here are these amazing fitness people that just couldn't do it. It was amazing to me. Like, it blew my mind that it was such a big deal. And I love the fact that, you know, we've seen so many athletes. I mean, you watch like what Rich does and what he does with his team in, you know, at the Mayhem Farm and stuff. And people are going like touch and go off the ground now, you know, with the pegboard. But there were so many people that were upset with that event being put, or that piece being put into that event and how it was put in there and everything. But I think it was completely apropos, man. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I love seeing it
too.
Yeah, and Dave had the best quote about that. I think he said, "My job is to test the athletes, not showcase them."
Oh yeah.
And that,
I mean, and granted, there was a drastic drop on that one. I mean, that was, I think it was expected, not that much. But you know, it is what it is. Everyone was a lot better next year.
That was a nexus year too. Like after 2015, like the volume, like all of that, like reset a lot of athletes as far as like what do I need to be able to do.
Yeah,
like an event like Murph, I need to have a better strategy for. I need to be able to be prepared for heavier, more events. I got to be able to do the pegboard under fatigue, and that like pushed it forward in the next like 3 or 4 years for sure.
Yeah,
and the final heat of the men's was super fun and exciting, but I feel like collectively all of our dads were watching this just in disappointment of like,
I did that back in my day.
There was no mat underneath. If we fell, we hit the hard gym floor and we got right back up and did it again.
All right. So my second one.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put this on there because I have to put it on there, and you guys already know. I'm sure you're probably just going, I already know what you're talking about.
I'm an event right now.
What?
I bet you're going for an event right now.
I'm going to do the event right now.
Yep.
Ooh.
And I bet Sean is glad that.
I am. I got to put.
Where are you going?
I got to put the first cut on there.
I was going
Now-
to say, check that.
Let me tell you this.
Through the roof.
Let me know. You know what? As an event and for what it was designed to do, it was perfect.
I
But
agree.
As far as like a spectator experience, not, you know, I mean, but I agree with, like, from a programming standpoint, what this was designed to do was perfect.
Well, and the reason I'm gonna put it on there is because of just that particular reason. It was, I think, the most, and you're right. I think when we had our big competition thing about, you know, what was the greatest event, I think that the definition of what greatest needed to be in this particular thing, I'm putting it in as the most important event that has been designed because of what it needed to do. It needed to take the biggest number of CrossFit athletes at one time and cut them down appropriately and logistically speaking to where you can get it done. And I was 100% blown away at how it was programmed and the way that it was programmed and what was all put in there. I had no idea that it was going to go that route, and I was just flabbergasted. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I got to put it down.
No, I look, like I said, when you take the entire experience in totality, not my thing. But when you look at just what it was designed to do, perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
Phil.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a little
Jason's
torn
up
about
next.
which direction to go, but I like the number I have in this one part. So miscellaneous means I can pick anything.
Anything you want,
All right.
as long as it's games associated.
Right. Yeah. So I'm torn between these two because either one's going to be great and someone's going to pick one. But I'm going to do this. It just popped up recently and just refreshed my memory of how amazing this whole moment was on Instagram. I think it was this morning or last night. And I'm going to go miscellaneous
Okay.
with the prettiest and fastest man in CrossFit. And I'm going to go with Dan Bailey. Sprint course, specifically to him jumping over the third or fourth hurdles, his sunglasses popping off, and catching them without looking at them, and then clearing the next hurdle to win the first and then the second back-to-back sprint. So I'm going to go Mr. Blue Eyes Bailey.
That's a good one.
That was literally that was my top miscellaneous
I had
moment.
another one, but I was like, seriously, I every time it pops up, I have to comment as like I don't think a lot of people, they're like, oh, Dan's really fast. I'm like, no, the sunglasses was the most amazing part. Like, Dan's supposed to win this.
Mhm.
Dan ain't supposed to catch like a no-look sunglasses catch.
Yeah.
Straight line athlete. And no offense to Dan, but I feel like if I throw a ball at him, there's a 50-50 shot that it's hitting face or chest and not hands. Right. And
Like a Rams receiver.
Easy. Hey, at least my guys catch
but
them.
okay, so it's because that's one I really wanted on there, and the fact I got to this point, I'm going to use my miscellaneous for that one.
That's a good one.
There you go.
I had that. I literally watched that. Have you been on social media today?
Yeah.
Did you watch the games edition? They posted that.
Yeah, I just watched it.
They posted that, and I was like, God, stop posting my picks across the games. I was like, you're giving up.
Like if one of these MFers in the show sees this clip and uses this against me.
Didn't even cross my mind to pick.
Oh man.
Oh,
That
hey,
was-
I got a couple other things that
I
I
got
on my
one
board.
in there. I think you might pick, Sean.
I think you might. Yeah, you might be surprised with what I'm.
I got some good
I'm not
miscellaneous ones.
Oh man. Okay, so now it's to me. So and then what we'll do here is then Tommy, you'll pick your third one. You'll do your whoop podium, and then we will commence with round 4.
Yep.
I can't believe I'm going to get this. I'm going to go event, and I'm going to go push pull, because to me that was 1A. One was burden run. 1A is push pull. I mean, that event, and this is one where. As far as like a programming standpoint, maybe not as elegant and as First Cut was, as far as the design of what it was designed to do, but the experience and the race and the entirety of like how it looked, how the crowd was into it, the athletes that we had battling in that final heat for the men, that to me is still just one of my all-time favorite events. It wasn't too complex, but the way that it played out, the visuals of it and the entire experience were fantastic, and it's still one of my all-time
I'll
events
add
of the
to
game.
that is that you can't watch that and get the same feeling without your guys' call
Thanks, man.
during that event.
Ah,
That was fun.
I wanted to pick that, but I feel like since I already took the Josh Matt one, I didn't want to double up. It's like taking 2 starting quarterbacks. Like, unless it's a 2 QB league, then I totally spit the bit there. But that's a great that's my all-time favorite CrossFit event of all time for all the different reasons. The moment, what it meant afterwards, during, the sound in that stadium. Like you talked about the finish with Cara and Tia and the deafening in a Coliseum. It was deafening in an open air tennis stadium.
Yeah.
And I had the best house. Like I had my legs dangling out of a box of our media booth that was just adjacent to where we normally call. And the noise that would fill those rooms,
it was so awesome.
Empty, was almost magnified by that. So yeah, that great pick. Great.
Yeah, totally.
I'm really happy with my first 3 rounds here. I'm not gonna lie.
And I will say, Sean, just as you gave the props to my event, I obviously love that event. I mean, you're right. The experience of that nighttime, the lights, the crowd, those 2 badasses, the Spartan handshake at the end, the whole thing, the sled. So I mean, yeah, that was an amazing setup for that event for sure. So it was awesome. Yeah.
That way, you know what? It wouldn't have been that closed out the night too. Like if they put that earlier in the day, I mean, I think it's still fun to watch, but it's not what it was.
It was everything, the moment, the time, the implications. And that's the thing about these events. It's like, it's not just what's on paper. Like there's so much that went into that. That's good call.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the moment. Yeah. I think you said this, like them looking up, like during the interview to see that, like, oh, Rich is back in the lead. Like that that was awesome too. Like all the little details around it. All right.
That's good.
All right, Tommy, you're up.
All right. So I have an event. I have a women's moment. I don't need to pick the men's moment for a while. I can put that on ice. I need equipment and miscellaneous. So I am going to go, I think I'm going to go equipment here. And I think everyone's natural inclination is to go to an individual piece of equipment.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Sean's over here playing chess in 3D, but I added that fourth dimension. And I'm going to go team implement, and I'm going to take the worm. Because if you talk about a singular piece of equipment that is more integral to a competition stage or a competition division within the framework of the CrossFit Games, like it's hard to argue that there's one, maybe like a pull-up bar or a barbell or something like that, or just your own natural body weight for individuals. But like for the teams, it's the worm. And the teams are not represented here in any other way, shape, or form, really. At least I wouldn't plan on it.
Is there a PED section on here, or what are we doing with that?
But we found from Jeremy, he was talking trash about these teams, and he's like, all these guys need to stop using gear. I was like, gear? Is that what you call PED?
Yeah.
Goes, yes. I was like, maybe we can put that on the board.
Oh man. So yeah, 3rd round, I'm taking my piece of equipment, and I am taking the worm.
All right. Well, then we'll take a break in the draft, and Tommy, you can give us you always get to choose the Whoop Podium.
Yep.
So I haven't done this in a while. So what do you have for us this week?
Since Sean is actually in the green for once.
Man, I've had a good little string going here.
We're going to go recovery, but we're going to go for the Monday to Sunday week because we are recording this on a Friday. So we got a nice little sample set for this entire week of our Talking Elite Fitness Whoop group. So our top 10 recovers on average for the week. Wow. Number 1, Hannah Kelsall, 98% on average for the week. Sierra Parker, 94%. Julio Cesar Violo, try pronouncing that, Sean, 92%. Number 4, Jen Morrow, 92%. Number 5, Anne-Marie Rooney, 91%. Emily Tucker Davis, 91%, with a massive HRV of 107. Holy smokes. Michael Rockford, 90%. Hunt Mayo, I don't know if that's a name or a purpose. That's 90%. That's amazing. And Jillian Mearns, 90% as well. And then last but certainly not least, to round out the top 10, Simone Pierre Perron, 89%. Everyone else in the top 10 above 90% for the week in the green. That's crushing the recovery. If you're listening, tell us what your secrets are. Hit us in the DMs. Let us know how you got in the green for an entire week. I'm averaging 71%, Sean. So I think we're doing overall pretty well as a podcast.
Yeah.
So
I've had 4 of the last 7 days in the green, mind you, Tommy.
Yeah. All right.
So to do that, is that like you just sleep for 10 hours and don't move for the rest of the day? Like how's that possible?
Quality of your sleep.
I think
I don't get a ton, but I've been getting quality lately.
I think your waking time is spent stretching and meditating. But that's
a lot of Wim Hof breathing.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
All right, Tommy's up. Tommy's up next now to kick off round 4, and we want to remind everybody that hey, if you're not on the Whoop train, get on there now. Whoop.com. Use the code Talking15. You'll get 15% off. Okay.
Oof.
Round 4.
All right. So I think this decision here is going to be the crux of my draft.
Oh, see, this is where you always.
Oh.
I've got two that I'm trying to decide from for games miscellaneous moments. One that's directly part of the competition and one that's not.
Ooh. There's a wrong answer, by the way, so you should probably.
You know what? I'm doing this to because I think Sean's got a good trio so far, and I think I'm gonna undercut it. So the most impressive thing about the 2016 Suicide Sprint was not Matt Fraser's performance.
Very nice.
But it was how that performance was captured.
Oh, that's a good one.
And during that length, one Marston T. Sawyers took the restrictor plate off the Red Dragon, gave it a little juice, and ran the length of the field alongside the athletes for a steady cam follow focus shot, just the full length of the field that was highlighted not just in the documentary that year. Fraser talked about it in his interview, but every once in a while, just when you're feeling bad and you need a little pick me up, it pops up on Reddit or like the subreddit for CrossFit or the subreddit for amazing shots or the subreddit for filmmaking of this camera guy out sprinting all these guys with like a 40-pound rig that he had. And I got to give him a little bit of love because that was pretty awesome. And I don't give him much. I can't give him too much credit, but yes, I'm going to take Marston's steady cam shot for the sprint.
That was good.
That is a good one.
Good miscellaneous one. That's another one I didn't even think of.
I'll reveal my other miscellaneous later, but
okay. Well, it's to me now.
Oh.
And I'm going to get my number one miscellaneous. And you guys were kind of talking it up. And I was like, shut up. Don't play this up because this is what I'm going to draft. So for my miscellaneous, I'm going to draft a locale. And I'm going to go with the tennis stadium. Because to me, we've had great venues. And I love the Alliant Energy Center. I love the North Park and the Coliseum. And they have an atmosphere that are great. But to me, there is nothing that can compare to being under the lights outside in the tennis stadium to close out a day of competition with an event like push-pull or, the up and back chipper in 2012. I mean, there have been so many great moments there, Rich Froning in 2014, winning double grace. So many great iconic moments have happened in that location that to me, it is still the singular best location that we've had at the game. So I'm going to take the tennis stadium as my miscellaneous pick.
That's a good one.
Good call.
That is a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a good call. Well done. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to take your tennis stadium
And raise you.
and I'm going to raise you one of the best events ever done in the tennis stadium.
Ooh.
Visual perspective, from a mystique perspective of what's happening.
Ready.
One of
Right.
the most unique
I know where he's going.
setups we've ever seen, and one of the best finishes we've ever seen on the men's side is the 2013 legless.
Oh,
yeah.
so
I knew you were
good.
doing
That
that
was-
one. Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
And a lot of it with your push pull is that watching that get built the day before the weekend started, because it was being built in the tennis stadium, but it wasn't the first event. And I just remember being assembled. I'm like, what is it going to be? And we see these little ropes wrapped on the top, and we didn't know how long they would be, and they dropped the ropes and they didn't touch the ground. We're like, what is happening? It's like, we're going legless. We're going like, what are those?
You know what? Bill called that. I got to give Bill credit. He goes, I think they're going to make him go legless.
Oh man, it was amazing. It was amazing.
The final for the, like, and there, it was 2 parts, right? Well, like, wasn't just a good men's, it was a good, there's a lot of stories on the women's side, and
yeah,
Jordan Troyan, Hendren, and Froning all coming down to the last rope and see who would win, and Troyan did the early celebration, and Hendren dove over the, and then Alessandra Pacelli making a name for herself and revolutionizing legless rope climbs the first time they ever got put out there with that style that she did. So my event that I'll be picking is the 2013 legless.
It's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay. Bill, you're up to close out round 4 and begin round 5. So you're done after this. These are your final 2 picks.
Ooh, Bill.
Don't screw this up.
Oh, dude, I got these. I got these. All right. So I'm going to go with my miscellaneous. Okay. I'm going to bring back probably, so CrossFit has never really had like the heel, the bad guy. There have been a couple people that have kind of sort of meandered into that territory, but then kind of out. But I think probably the first person, not because they were a bad guy, but because they were a very misunderstood individual. And mostly because we were just a bunch of Americans. And all of a sudden you have these weird outsiders coming in and they act different. But Miko Salo, when he came onto the floor, was this machine, very stoic personality. You didn't see pain. You didn't see happiness. You didn't see anything. He just would come in, wreck shop, and then leave. And there was a moment, and I hesitated whether I wanted to use this as a male moment or as a miscellaneous. But there was a time after the sandbag event. This was the first sandbag event, where everyone, classic CrossFit style, everyone does their things, and they're up there, they finish the event, they're cheering everybody else on, and this guy, and this is what everyone thought. This badass comes in, does the event, and then all of a sudden you see him walking across the floor, out of the arena, out of the tennis stadium. And everyone's like, what the hell is wrong with, who does that guy think he is? Why is he not cheering for everybody? And then, that was a big deal because he was, he came in, he was, a very athletic guy, very good at everything, showed zero emotion, didn't talk really to anyone. And finally, this is when Sevon was doing all the interviews with everyone. Sevon actually at some point got up and talked to him. It was like, did you have a problem with it, with the people where, what was going on here? And he goes, I just wanted to get ready for the next event. So here was this like crazy mystique that everyone had. It was like, screw the Americans. And it's like, I just was trying to get ready. I don't know what the problem is. But this guy, like, at that moment, there was so many questions around this guy because he, from what it looked like, came out of nowhere from, 2009. And then just smashing everything out of the open. It's like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah. And then he comes in, and now the big crowd see him, not just the Aromas crowd, but like the big crowd see him on the big stage, and that was such a weird thing. He was like this weird
enigma.
Oh my gosh, it was a trip. But then you talk to him now, and it's like he's really a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
All right. Well, that's a good one. I like that.
All
Miko Salo for your miscellaneous.
Yeah.
You got to close it out. And I think you need
I need one more.
You need a women's moment.
I need a women's moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of my moments are tough when it comes to, if someone wins or whatever, because I just think like those are very in this realm, very normal. Like we don't see athletes struggle, or we rarely see our athletes struggle. I'm gonna go for my women's moment. One of the biggest struggles I've ever seen from an athlete that is, you would never think that she would ever struggle in anything ever. But when the first time we did Murph, all the heat stuff coming through, when Cara Saunders comes across the field, like with her head in full Stevie Wonder mode, head up in the air, and still able to make it all the way across and finish as strong as she did, And then you talked to her about it afterwards. And she's like, I don't even remember. I don't even remember coming across the floor at all. That moment to me was like these athletes put themselves into such a hurt locker that they will give like their entire body to finish. And I love seeing that kind of stuff, that struggle piece, whether it's like, Iron Man where everyone's crumbling and they're trying to crawl themselves across the line kind of thing. That's what that was to me. It's like, talk about tenacious. Wow. That's badass. That's my moment.
The will outlasted the body there.
100%. 100%.
That's a good one.
Forgot about that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a very
Damn. That's a good pull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Chase, you are up next. I believe what you need a piece of equipment. Yeah.
Yes, I have equipment. Now, the bonus of doing teams for almost 10 years is that you really get to see a lot of new things get put out on the scene where it's like, hey, let's just build some crazy stuff and see what happens. And I was worried Tommy was going to get this, but he didn't. Worm was a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with one of the most ridiculous pieces of equipment ever. And it was the 6-person Big Bob.
Oh, yeah.
With a giant pull-up bar at the end of it.
Yeah.
Fantasyland, and you have these yahoos like swinging off the bar whilst pushing the Big Bob through the soccer stadium. So I'm going to go to the Fantasyland Big Bob pull-up sled.
I like that one. That was a
ridiculous piece of equipment.
That was like the platypus of CrossFit equipment.
Oh my gosh, totally.
With some bars, we're gonna stick this thing off the back. It's gonna make no sense, but hey, it's gonna look pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Marsupial.
Oh man, I love it.
Okay, that means I'm going to equipment, and I am gonna go with one. I think it made its first appearance. I want to say it was 2015. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was 2014. I can't remember. But it really sort of embodied, I think, what the games are all about. Bigger spectacle. You're not going to see this anywhere else. And I'm going to go with Zeus.
Dang it! I forgot it. I had that the other day.
We've had rigs at the games before. They're common pull-up bars. You get those A-frame ones. Fine, they look cool when they're all lined up. But nothing was as spectacular as walking into the soccer stadium and seeing that gigantic structure that was built there. That I think it took like 18 semi trucks to bring in all the parts for it. I mean, it was like no small task to get all the parts there, and then they had to put that thing up, and they were able to use it for tons of stuff. But it was just sort of the monument that you would say, okay, yeah, I'm at the games now because Zeus is here. So yeah. I'm taking Zeus as my equipment.
I had that yesterday. I was like, oh, no one's going to think about this giant monstrous thing. And then I forgot about it, writing it down on my sheet right now.
Whoopsie.
Anytime you use like WWF, like wrestling type hyperbole, like to describe anything, like I'm all for it. And when I remember when Zeus got built, they're like, you could drive a semi truck across it. I'm like, is this like a monster truck arena or like what's going on here? And
this affects the orbit of the earth.
Like you could see it from space. And like I saw it. And I saw it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's actually like really badass."
It's own shirt, like there's a Zeus shirt that sells. So
that is cool. That's a good one.
Good call.
Yeah. Thank you. So which now brings us to Tommy to close this out. And
okay,
what do you need, Tommy? You need a men's moment.
I need a men's moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually going to like help my score that I'm picking this moment last because it's like Mr. Irrelevant, but it's like hardly but irrelevant. After which I do want to talk about some of my close misses.
Okay.
But in the pantheon of CrossFit games, you talk about like the most important moments for like the sport on the competition field. But one of the things that needs to be discussed is the most important calls of the CrossFit games too, and how it really tells the story of what happened. And you talk to anyone that knows anything about the games, you talk about one of the most important calls, live action calls of CrossFit games. It's going to happen in 2014. It's going to happen on the final day. It's going to happen on the final 4 reps of Double Grace with Rich Froning securing his 4th title. Sean Woodland, there's videos of it from in the booth too, just hunched over, just like ready to go into attack mode, with each rep listing Rich Froning's like accomplishments, and then finally just hitting that last one as he crosses the finish line. That event while it was relatively straightforward as far as like and simple as far as a finale is concerned, like the implications of the moment of athletes taking the floor, not knowing if Rich is going to win, like believing he would, but really there's a lot to be decided. Having the thick and quick event before it to set it up. Castro giving a little bit of a twist, but this is the games. We're going to do double grace. And then Sean just calling like Babe Ruth calling it and just knocking one out of the park. I like if I'm having a bad, like I said this earlier, if I'm having a bad day, didn't hit my lifts in the gym, whatever, I just throw on that call and, you know, it's like a shot of pure adrenaline straight to the heart. like I'm Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. And suddenly I'm like ready to go again. People have tried to emulate it, Chase.
Yeah.
And you know what? The original still stands the test of time. So I am going to go Rich Froning, double grace to seal the deal on title number 4 as my final pick.
That's a good one.
When are we going to do a podium picks of Sean Woodland's best calls?
Oh, we can do that sometime. I will recuse myself, and you guys. You know what?
Do you believe in a likelihood?
That was one where I got really lucky with the way that played out because and I'll give Tony Budding was sort of the genesis for this whole thing because I remember Bill. I think you and I were working on post shows one time with him.
Yeah.
And we got off the side discussion. This was in 2013. Where Tony said, "Oh yes, Rich Froning is the fittest man in history, and if you guys say that, like I will back you up. I know Greg will back you up." And I was like, "Oh, that's actually
it's a great line. I think we should use
that.
that.
File that away for later." And the way that event played out, like if it wouldn't have worked had it been, you know, take any other final event that he won, I don't think it would have worked. It was just like everything came together.
Well, the tempo of the way the moves went, and it was like every rep was now an accent to what you were saying as it was coming out, and you're tapping everyone right in the face, and bam, it just finished it. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, I got it, man. I got it.
I can't start this tour. Like I was looking at the clock. I'm going, I think I got to do this with 4 reps to go at the pace he's going. And so wherever I started, I was like, I got to go now. And then he like kind of backed off. I was like, no, keep going. Like you're
no, but that's one thing that you have that is, you know, calling so many events alongside you. That's something that you are so good at, is seeing that tempo and being able to feel that tempo as it comes up. And I mean, you know, as color commentators, we know that, like, we know when to hop in and to hop out. Like our time is the middle ground, or like the pre stuff or the replays, and we back out for those things. And man, when I remember backing out, and then I just was kind of like, just watching you go to work, and I'm like, dang, that's pretty. Look at him go. He's so good. Oh man,
he did you a solid way. He did you a solid way better than Tia Toomey did back in.
No, you just dropped it. But it was so exciting. Yeah. That was man. But thank you. I appreciate that. That was a good draft. But okay, so Tommy, you said you wanted to go through your near misses. I had a couple that I almost put on there. Like for me, men's moment, I almost put Matt Fraser 2019 and the clean event.
Yeah, that was really close. Mm-hmm. That was like right there. That was such an awesome moment. Mm-hmm. For the miscellaneous, the two ones that were like a distant third and fourth, Lucas Parker flashing Chris and Clever the goods at penalty.
Full frontal Lucas.
Yeah, I wanted to put that in there, but I didn't end up doing it.
So good.
Numi Katranarson.
Sneaking
out of the hospital to come back to the competition in 2012.
Yeah.
He basically like pulls the IVs out of his arms and walks out in his hospital gown. But that's like kind of like too off the like the record, you know. But the one I really had to think about that I was going to pick instead of Marson, but I decided to go the other route, was Castro's cornrow wedding.
Oh,
that was
part of that. Those were members at my gym.
Really?
Are they still married?
Yes.
Okay, good. I have this fantasy about somewhere down the line, like 30, 40 years, they're just in their rocking chairs, grandkids running around, they're like on the front porch, and people are like, Grandpa, show me about when you guys got married. And they just open up this booklet, and it's on the tennis stadium of the StubHub Center. And there they are with Dave Castro, just cornrows and sunglasses, marrying them at the CrossFit game.
Classing up the joint.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I remember them talking about that and like, hey, here's like, come meet them. And I was like, oh, hey, guys, what are y'all doing here? It's like, we're getting married. I'm like, what? Like, will you be like, I came down from the booth because I was calling an event, came down from the booth, sat in the chairs to kind of like be a witness to it. They asked me to be, and then I went back up to the booth.
Wow.
That's
I didn't know
amazing.
that. Yeah. What, Chase, Bill, what did you guys have on your list that didn't make it?
Go, Chase, go.
Well, the Lucas Parker one is definitely one. Vellner wrecking out Brandon Luckett. Not
on the bike. Yeah.
On the bike. I think it's a moment that most people don't really know what happened. Is like, oh, his peg broke off a bike. I'm like, pegs don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, what happened is Vellner lost control, swerved and cut Luckett off and flipped him over his handlebars. Like, it was the reason for all that stuff happening. So
in that same event too, there was Matt Fraser almost went over his handlebars.
Yes,
turn, like he got a little, to use a NASCAR term, he got a little squirrely.
It was killer's corner, right? So like there's a corner on the back end, and there's like turn 3 basically, like, and right between the Coliseum and that back stadium. And I was like, I know exactly where all the problems are going to be. So I wasn't calling because I was doing teams. So I just walked over there to just watch, and it was the best seat in the house. I mean,
hell yeah.
Fraser making that save was amazing.
It was right, that slide out to the back and come through. That was pretty intense. Killer Cage was an event.
I had that on my list.
Yeah,
that was cool. I was in the stands for that one.
Women's moments was Sam Briggs, like just totally demoralizing Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet on the what was that run thing they did? Midline Madness.
Midline Madness. Yeah, where she lapped her.
Like, pats her on the back.
Yeah.
She confident in me.
Man,
those are good ones.
You're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
You keep doing good there.
Yeah.
I had the one that I think of mostly is the Lucas Parker one, but Lucas Parker on the double banger, the first double banger.
Yeah.
So that was one of the best. That event was one of the best midday tennis stadium events I'd seen, because they would finish, like, the event itself was the event, but the finish was rad because they would hop up onto their box.
That's
and
like
they'd
the first time they did that, right?
Yeah. And they would raise their sledge up over their head. And I mean, Lucas was such a character back then anyway, but he's got, his big old beard and all hairy chested, and it was like, wow, I just thought that was a cool one.
That was that was an all-time photo. Like, there was like a photo of him, like, ready.
I think that's his t-shirt. I think that's his t-shirt.
Yeah.
It made the cover of Lumberjacks Weekly magazine.
Chris and Clever, just demoralizing everybody. And what was that, 2010?
Yep, 2010.
She won every event but one, I think.
Man,
that year. Just smashed. I mean, everybody. Those ones. There's I like a lot of the old ones where it's just our athletes. I mean, great athletes, but them kind of finding their way within this new thing on what would be, 30 double unders in a final event kind of a thing, where it's like, oh yeah. Oh no, that wasn't okay. We need to not do that. Or like, the ring handstand push-ups where they're elevated, not the ones that are right off the ground, or even having that at all, and having, whatever standards you're going to have with all those. I mean, there's a lot of those kind of things that are just, man, there's a lot of fun stuff with the games, man. A lot of really fun memories. A lot of crazy things have happened. Good, bad. Now they're not bad when you look back at them, but it's like just amazing stories.
Yeah,
it's cool.
One thing I had on my miscellaneous, Tommy, and I think you guys had these too, were the Paleo Nick ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, that would have been good.
Remember how good those tasted at the end of a long day?
Best ice cream sandwich I've ever had in my entire life.
Those are so good. Those are so good too.
It's great because everyone is like being health conscious still, and I don't know why. Because like when I was working out or competing, and I would have like 3 of them.
They're so good. Oh man, I hope they're there this year.
There was a I was trying to think of, so one of the ones that Chase took, the Dan Bailey moment with the glasses, that was going to be part of like a Spirit of the Games moment for him, for me. The other one was Deborah Corner Carson getting Spirit of the Games when she was able to complete the swim.
Swim,
in 2013. That was another moment. Honestly, the toughest part is like the further we go back, unless it's something that like transcends the entirety of the competition, like there's a lot of people that are listening that probably are like, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know that moment, that are, 5-6 years into the game that had no clue how that happened.
Well, you use something like the rope climb, like the very first rope climb in the 2010. That rope climb, not only like everyone remembers Rich not being able to climb the rope, but there were athletes that they were climbing the rope and they'd have to stop. I remember watching Rob Orlando getting up on the rope and his arms are so blown out that he's trying to lock himself on the rope and shaking arms out while he's trying to recover them to get back up, to go back up the rope again. I mean, that rope messed people up. So many people fell from that thing, and so many people just we didn't know how to do it yet.
Crash pads.
and no crash pads. I mean, a stall mat is the greatest thing to fall on from 20 feet.
Yeah.
That's my preferred landing of choice.
Yeah. Gravity is not your friend in that situation. What do you guys have coming up on Get With the Programming?
So let's see. Next week we're gonna get Awesome Maliolo on the show. We're gonna peek behind the curtain. We're gonna go a little behind the programming series of the CAP programming, the CrossFit affiliate program. We're gonna how it came to be, what the plan is going forward, how they're gonna unfold that entire thing. So that'll be our big show next week. And then depending on what hints we get going forward, we may do another predicting the programming series for our Patreon followers.
Nice,
where we just make stuff up and see if it sticks.
Love it.
Yeah, that's it. Getting ready for the games.
Yeah. Well, it's always great having you guys come by, man. Thank you so much. We need to do this more often. Every time we do it, I'm like, man, why don't we do that more often?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It is so fun.
So fun.
And if you guys, if you haven't, please go subscribe to Get With the Programming. It's a great podcast. You guys do a fantastic job of, diving into events and all that stuff and talking about the test and, very educational and very entertaining. I always enjoy listening to it. You will be able to vote on who you think won this draft on the Instagram post that Tommy will be putting together. And that'll be out on our official Instagram page. So make sure if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, the only place your vote will count is on Instagram. So go to that post and make sure you vote in the comments, and we will see who comes out on top in our very first ever games draft. Guys, thanks again so much for taking the time to do this. Like I said, always a pleasure. All the best, and we will talk to you soon. For Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other, be better, and we'll see you in Madison.